Hi, my name's Georgia. Welcome to my brand new channel. I'm going to be telling you about why I'm jealous of men today. In every woman's life, there is an awkward moment you get where you realize that you are a woman. And I don't just mean, oh my gosh, I have boobs. I mean actually realizing that you need to come to terms with the ramifications of being biologically female. No one prepares you for it, not your teachers, not your parents, not Hollywood. In fact, they probably do the opposite. So when you're 16 and you're picking out your career and your university degree, the last thing on your mind is the knowledge that you're female. And so you think, oh, maybe I'll have kids in the future, but you don't really take that into account because it's so far away that it's like it's somebody else's life at that point in time. So no one prepares you for the moment when you have to face your gender. It's the moment when you realize that your greatest and most insurmountable limitation has nothing to do with your intelligence or your competence or your hard work or the effort that you put in or how rich your parents were or how ambitious you are, how motivated you are, but everything to do with the fact that at some point in your prime you have to drop it all to start a family and you feel so cheated. So it's so hard to accept that, but you have to, and you get annoyed that no one told you. I mean, it would have been nice to get some practical advice. In high school I thought that I could be an astronaut for most of my teenage years and like fly around with gay unicorns or something, but you know, it would have been nice for someone to just say, well, when you're taking your career into account, just take into account that you probably will have to be leaving the workforce potentially multiple times in order to have children. So you might need to pick something that's flexible or that's going to suit you. But no, go ahead, pick the hardest career that you can because it sounds cool at the time and it sounds super prestigious and you want to impress your parents and your friends and you want to earn a lot of money, I guess, but you know, you'll finish the training and maybe you work for 1.5 years and then you'll stop because you got pregnant and you know, you might not even come back. What a waste. That moment for me was in my very early 20s when I was right in the middle of such a degree, a 6-year degree, which I knew was going to be followed by 3 or 4 years of, or maybe 4 or 5 years of quite a lot of hard work, long hours, quite inflexible as well. And so from that moment onwards, every little decision that I made had that in mind, that I had to deal with this huge inconvenience of nature. And so over a number of years, all these tiny little tweaks completely changed the direction that my life was going in, that completely changed the trajectory I had planned when I was 16, which was no longer practical. Couldn't be an astronaut. The position that I find myself in now is influenced by all of these little tweaks, knowing that I can't work 70-hour weeks. This is perhaps the saddest and the greatest of all the first world problems that women face in the 21st century, and that is that we are told we can do anything, we can be anything, we have the world at our fingertips, but we still have to face our own biology. And that is why I'm jealous of men, because men have everything that women have. We have equality of opportunity, essentially. But men have at least half a decade to a whole decade, even more, to do it all in. And I'm so envious of that because they just have that extra bit of time before they have to stop and have a family. And even when they do have a family, it's not going to have anywhere near as much as an impact as it does on women, simply because men don't breastfeed yet, or ever, hopefully never. I have gone on dates with guys where on our first date they have specifically told me that they have no intention of settling down within the next 5 to 10 years, and I just sit there thinking, well, that kind of rules you out, but I don't blame you, because if I was in your position, I'd probably be happy with the extra time too. Why would I be rushing to settle down when I can still do all these amazing things before I have to focus on that? But in this body, as much as I love it, I have to sort out the family side of my life in the next 5 to 10 years, or I am really setting myself up for an empty and disappointing future. Men can do things that I simply cannot dream of, and for that I am envious. But it's like a healthy envy. I'm glad that at least half of the population can still have a lot of extra time to focus on bettering themselves, and through that bettering the people around them. And as a society, I think we would benefit from that overall. This video was inspired by a conversation I had with a male friend of mine who is the same age as me, who pointed out that if I didn't sort out the family side of my life, pretty soon I was going to be setting myself up for a dismal future, and he did not envy me at all. And it really made me think about how different our positions are in this world right now. One man, one woman, same age, same type of career, but completely different outlook on the next decade of our lives. It's it's a dampener to have to constantly be faced by the limits of your own biology every day. And I have been able to put it into the back of my mind for quite a few years, but each passing year it gets a little bit louder and louder and more difficult to ignore, and there is going to come a time when I'm not going to be able to ignore it. I'm jealous of men because I would like another 5 years before I have to start stressing, but I don't have it. So what do you think? Leave a comment below. I'd love to hear from especially any other girls who have had similar stresses to me, and what you've done to compensate for your fertility limitations. Have you quit work? Have you found a different job? Or did you decide not to have children, or just one child? I'd love to know. Give this video a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button, because I will be posting more, and I would love if you could come along with me.